opinions shared by our host and guests are their own and don't necessarily reflect the views of the Organization of American States or its donors. Thank you for tuning in.
Las opiniones expresadas por nuestros presentadores e invitados son propias y no necesariamente reflejan las ideas de la Organización de los Estados Americanos ni de sus donantes.
Bueno, buenas tardes a todos que nos acompañan a través de la radio La Zona de Zone, el espacio que conecta voces, comunidades y oportunidades en toda nuestra región, especialmente en la zona de adyacencia entre Belice y Guatemala. Les saluda Pablo Cambranes desde la ciudad de Panamá. Hoy tenemos el honor de dar la bienvenida a una distinguida invitada, la oficial a cargo de la Biblioteca Colón, Rocío Suárez, quien nos acompaña en el marco de su participación en la Asamblea General. Para iniciar, ¿nos puedes compartir un poco sobre usted, su trayectoria profesional y cómo fue el camino que la llevó a desempeñar su rol actual?
Thank you very much for having me here today. It's a really great opportunity to be able to speak about the library and its role in the organization and the work that we do. Personally, I was born and raised in the United States. My father's from Peru and my mom's from the Dominican Republic. And I say this because I think it had a lot to do with how I ended up at the OAS. I studied international relations in college. And in my master's program, I had the opportunity to start working at the library of the OAS. And I didn't study library science. I was studying international communications at the time. But the work of the organization is very broad. And the library's role is a research center, really. And so the work that we were doing there, which was studying the history of the inter-American system and sharing it with the staff, it really spoke to me. And I just was able to develop in my work in the library, and I enjoyed it so much. I got the opportunity to become a staff member. I started off as what we call a CPR, or contract role. And when I got a staff position, it was really a great opportunity for me to look at my career and decide that I wanted to stay at the organization. So I've been there for 23 years now. I started off as the assistant to the director, and I've had almost every role in the library. So I've really grown up there and learned so much about our hemisphere, because the organization really is about our hemisphere. It's not about one country, but it's about how all the independent countries of our hemisphere work together. So, and today I am soon to be officially the director of the library. So it's been a long time coming, but it's been a great career that I've had at the OAS, and I will finish my career at the OAS. I know this for sure. So yeah, it's a road that has had a lot of twists and turns, but I think that my heritage, as the daughter of two Latin American parents, but having grown up in the States, really speaks and helps me with my work at the organization, because we serve so many, different countries of the region: English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese speaking. So, yeah, that's how I eventually got here.
Thank you for sharing. We can hear your passion for the work that you do, so that's really nice to see. And following up on your experience over the years, transitioning now my question back to Spanish, ¿podría explicarnos cómo evolucionó el sistema interamericano desde las primeras conferencias panamericanas y la Unión Panamericana hasta la adopción de la Carta de la OEA en 1948?
Sí. Stay in English, sure. Yeah. So the OAS is the world's oldest regional organization. It was actually created in 1890 after the first Inter-American Conference under a different name. The OAS has had 3 different names, but I like to stress that despite whatever name it was under, the work of the organization has always been the same since 1890. It was the first time that the independent nations of this hemisphere got together and ended the conference with a resolution creating what is today the Inter-American system. We know that in 1826, Simón Bolívar tried to bring together the countries of the hemisphere, and the idea was really born there, and that's why we're here in Panama this year, 200 years later. But it was really the organization that was able to make it concrete and bring together these countries. So in 1910, the organization inaugurated its headquarters in Washington, D.C., and that's when the name changed to Pan American Union. During that time, we didn't have General Assemblies, we had inter-American conferences. So the countries would meet every 4 or 5 years and in different places over the hemisphere, and they would meet for about a month. Because when you travel from so far away, you don't just come for 1 or 2 days, you come for a long time. So the conferences would last about a month, and they would discuss all different kinds of issues: international law, treaties, conventions, and some of our biggest and most important worldwide conventions and treaties were born from these conferences. In 1948, at the 9th Inter-American Conference, the organization signed its charter, which is when we changed our name to the Organization of American States, and that's following the United Nations, who signed their charter in 1945. So it was really it was a legal framework, let's say, to make the institution work under a charter. In 1970, the organization, after reforms to the charter, changed to the General Assembly system that we know today. So the first ordinary meeting, the first regular sessions of the General Assembly was actually 1971. But the first special session of the General Assembly was in 1970. And that's now every year, where we meet for only 3 days, really, which is interesting. We went from month-long conferences to 3 days, where we just do everything in 3 days. But the reality is that the work that's done in the context and in the framework of these conferences or General Assemblies today is the same. We approve our highest level treaties, resolutions, declarations. The member states meet to discuss the most important work that's being done every year. So the idea is the same. We just, modern technology has helped us streamline it.
For sure. And something that was, being present here at this General Assembly, I had the opportunity to see that there's a display at the entrance. Maybe you can share more about that exhibition and what it is about.
Thank you for asking about that. So this is actually the first year that the library has taken materials from our archives and brought it to a General Assembly. So it's very exciting for us. The library's archives have materials dating back to, in reality, to the 1500s. Our member states have donated books and materials from their countries dating all the way back. But we also have a lot of material from Simón Bolívar's original conference here in Panama, and also from the centennial celebration in 1926 here in Panama as well, which is a very large celebration. So it's really gratifying that now, 100 years after that first celebration, we are bringing material back to Panama that ended up in Washington, D.C. So the exhibition is material. We have a letter, an original letter signed by Simón Bolívar. We have one of only 2 commemorative coins from the centennial celebration. So we brought that with us too. And then we have other materials showing the people who are gathered here how the inter-American system developed and how Simón Bolívar's original idea led us to where we are today. So it's a really nice opportunity once again for us to be able to display our work outside of headquarters, outside of Washington, D.C.
Yes, I agree. And besides the letter, could you share any other documents or publications that you would consider that are important to understand the transition between the first General Assemblies?
Yes. So we do have a display with the most important key legal instruments, I would say. So we have a copy of the 1948 charter there. We have a copy of some of the treaties and conventions that are first in the world. The organization signed a convention on violence against women called Belém do Pará. That is one of the first in the world to directly address violence against women. We are also displaying materials, the American Declaration on the Rights and Duties of Man, which that predates the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. So we actually were first to have a declaration on human rights before United Nations. We also have, let's see what else, I'm trying to think of what else I put in there. We also have a lot of photographs showing these conferences, which is really interesting because you can see how the work of the organization was done everywhere in this hemisphere. We've had General Assemblies or Inter-American conferences in almost every country throughout the hemisphere over the last 136 years. So it is really interesting material to look at. But I would say our charter in 1948 that's the key document that really kind of changes how we were working to what you see today.
Thank you for that. And more on a personal level, what would be your favorite, I know it might be a difficult question, but what would you say is a document or a photograph that connects to you on a personal level?
You know, it's, and this is a good opportunity for me to invite everyone who's listening and who might be out there, if you ever have an opportunity to come to Washington, D.C., please, and I will say personally reach out to me. I'm the director of the library, so I'm pretty easy to find. My email is on our website. I invite you to visit our headquarters. It is a historic building, and it is called the House of the Americas. And because it is the home to the citizens of this hemisphere. And everyone who's listening to this is a citizen of the hemisphere, so this is your home. That headquarters building is your home. I give historic tours of the building. So my favorite documents and materials have to do with the building, the construction of the building, the history of the building, because it really doesn't just represent, or it's not just an office space. It really is a representation of our cultures and our communities. The architecture is beautiful, and it has representations from throughout the hemisphere, but also the work that's done in there is for the citizens of the hemisphere. So really any photographs of the inauguration of the building in 1940, thousands of people came out for that. The President of the United States was there. He planted a tree that still grows there today. It's 116 years old. So yes, I please invite anyone who's ever in Washington to reach out, because I will give you a tour of that building personally.
So thank you once again for your time. I don't know if you would want to share any more information about your experience here at the General Assembly, or any additional contact information like the website.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, so it's the Columbus Memorial Library of the Organization of American States. Our website is www.oas.org/Columbus. So it's pretty easy to remember, /Columbus. And on that website, you can find my email directly. Please feel free to email me. We're also open to researchers. So if you're doing a thesis, or if you're doing any kind of work on anything that has to do with the Inter-American system, I bet we can help you out with material. And if you ever, if anyone is on a school group visiting Washington, D.C., we also would love to have any groups, anybody there for a conference. Once again, just remember that the OAS is your home. It really is. It's there to work for your human rights and your rights in general, and the building itself is your home. So please, I welcome everyone who visits us in Washington, and yes, I hope you all can attend as well. And we have a lot of materials on the adjacency zone and on Belize and in Guatemala, of course. Long history with both countries. Actually, Belize was our last country to join the OAS at the same time as Guyana. So in 1992, I believe. Yes, yeah.
That's a little fun.
Yeah, I'm a little fact. Yeah, but thank you so much for the opportunity. And yes, hello to all of your listeners out there in the adjacency zone.
Well, thank you very much for sharing all the knowledge that you have and the beautiful reflections of your careers. And thank you for our listeners who are tuning live. And so we invite you to stay tuned to our conversations that we will be, and the interviews that we will be recording throughout these 3 days of the General Assembly. So thank you once again, and stay tuned.
Gracias.